In the shadowy areas of rural America, amidst whispers and rumors, lurks a creature unlike anything seen before. A conglomeration of animal characteristics merged into one to create a modern-day chimera, with a penchant for terrorizing unsuspecting communities unfortunate enough to fall victim to its line of sight. We're going to delve into the murky depths of history to uncover this beast's origins, from the earliest accounts whispered around Appalachian campfires to modern-day encounters documented in the age of the internet. It's time to untangle the threads of myth and reality that surround the Snallygaster. Hello everyone and welcome to Wicked Encounters, where we explore just what goes bump in the night. I'm your host Allie, and today we're going to explore the world of the Snallygaster. The Snallygaster first popped up in the 18th century by German immigrants in Frederick County, Maryland. It was initially called the Schneidergeist, which in German means quick spirit. Quick spirits were typically a form of light poltergeist activity, such as a sudden draft, papers scattering, or lightweight items being knocked over. Early accounts describe the Snallygaster as appearing as a half-bird, siren-like creature with some hellish features of a demon or ghoul. Later accounts have its appearance being a half-reptile, half-bird, with a metallic beak, razor-sharp teeth, octopus-like tentacles,
Stop it. Get some help.
and a singular eye in the center of its forehead. Other reports have it looking like a bird-wildcat hybrid or a sable-eyed muskrat or a dragon. These versions are a little less common, but they do help emphasize just how bizarre and crazy the Snallygaster's appearance is, and how much it varies. The Snallygaster was said to live deep in the caves of South Mountain, and would silently swoop down from the sky to snatch up farm animals and children before sucking them dry of their blood vampire style. To prevent losing animals or family members, hex signs with 7-pointed stars would be painted on local barns, which can still be seen to this day. To be clear, hex signs aren't solely used against the Snallygaster. They were used for a large variety of superstitions, with some being designed to avoid famine, bring good luck, provide strength, and so on. For a while, the story stayed there. No sightings, no changes to its description, nothing. Then that all changed when the Fire Nation attack 1909 came around. For those who listened to my Jersey Devil video, congratulations. For those who haven't, you definitely should. There was a surge of sightings for the winged horned beastie all across New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. Well, Maryland press didn't want to be left out, and newspapers began posting their own encounters with an enormous winged, terrifying monster. The Valley Register was the first to kick up an interesting tale by running a story in February 1909 involving a man named Bill Gifferson, who had been walking home when a monstrous winged beast came upon him and carried him up a hill to slash his jugular with its beak, draining his body of all his blood before finally dumping his corpse into a ravine. Was this acceptable violence to run at the time? I mean, people nowadays complain about video games and their violence. Yeah, alright, let's just casually read about a man getting his throat slit. No complaints there, huh? Not too much for the children? No? Just me? And people act like history doesn't repeat itself over and over again like fashion trends. Can't wait until human sacrifices start cropping up in mainstream religions in order to fight back famine or war. Soon after Bill's unfortunate encounter, many more newspapers began reporting sightings of it, with one from Hagerstown Mail reporting that the Smithsonian had tried to classify the creature and wrote saying that it is either a winged bovolupus or a Snallygaster, and it has some of the characteristics of both. These animals are exceedingly rare, and the hide of the Snallygaster is said to be worth $100,000 a square foot, as it is the only thing known that will properly polish punctal shells used by Africans of Umbopaland for ornaments. Umbopaland is not a real place, and punctal shells aren't a thing. Also, $100,000 in 1909 is the equivalent of, let's see here, $3,432,219.78 today. And that would be a square foot. So let's see, if the Snallygaster is projected to be large enough to carry off farm animals and a human man, let's say Bill Gerson was the standard adult male size at the time at 5'6" and 150 pounds. One of the largest known birds to have ever existed is the Argentavis magnificens, which was estimated to have a wingspan between 16 feet and 8 inches to 21 feet and 4 inches, with a tip-to-tail measurement of 11 feet and 6 inches, standing at the standard size. So, let's see. A Snallygaster hide would net you, carry the one, work out the square root, and... Yes, according to my calculations, one Snallygaster hide would cost you approximately a shit ton of money. Later on during these interesting retellings, one came up of a man who came upon a Snallygaster as it was drinking a 100-gallon tub of water. Once it had finished, it turned to the man and exclaimed, "My, I'm dry." Can't relate. "I haven't had a good drink since I was killed in the Battle of Choga." Alright, now that I can relate to. The Battle of Choga was during the Civil War and was fought on September 18th through the 20th of 1863. It marked the end of the U.S. Army offensive Chickamauga campaign that took part in southeastern Tennessee and northwestern Georgia. It also holds the second highest number of casualties of 34,624, only being bested by the Battle of Gettysburg. This tale seemed to try and turn the fearsome Maryland Cthulhu-esque creature into the ghost of a dead Civil War soldier. And considering the creature was already almost impossible to imagine, this made it too unbelievable for people in those days to really get behind. Still, I guess people were bored back then. And the stories did continue on into July, where Valley Register described an incident where a scientific expedition dove into the monster's lair, where it erupted from the ground, before flying off in the direction of Virginia. After that, reports on the Snallygaster remained quiet for a while, until 23 years later, where it was once again reported in Frederick County. It was surmised that this one, though, was an ancestor of the one from 1909, since they believed the life expectancy of a Snallygaster was only 20 years. Soon after this sighting, 2 residents reported that they saw it 25 feet overhead.
Man, fucking meow!
And then it died in Washington County, when moonshine fumes overcame it and it fell from the sky into a 2,500-gallon vat of alcohol that revenue agents soon destroyed. Don't know why they did that instead of selling the hide for millions, but to each their own, I suppose. Now, to be clear, the Snallygaster is a hoax and a copycat, with its odd appearance paying tribute to the German immigrants who migrated in, embedding their lore and superstitions to the area, and newspaper articles wanting to one-up the Jersey Devil sightings. Germanic folklore is full of ghosts and belief that the mountains were the home of dragons. With how hauntingly majestic the Appalachian mountain range is, it wouldn't be too hard to believe them to be full of dragons as well. Leo Spitzer, a Jewish-Austrian literature scholar who settled in at Maryland's Johns Hopkins University in 1930, is one of the few scholars who have attempted to unravel the story of the Snallygaster's true origins. He believes that rather than just dragons and spirits, the Snallygaster's origin may have actually been derived from the Wild Hunt, and not the one from The Witcher 3. Or, actually, no, maybe it's exactly the one from The Witcher 3. Yeah, no, it's the one from The Witcher 3, huh? The Wild Hunt is a story with Norse and Christian origins involving a troop of damned souls riding through the sky, being chased by the Wild Hunter, Odin, as they snatched up unwary travelers along their path. Since coming into America, though, the oddities and eccentricities described to the beast have definitely turned it into more of a tall tale. Despite not getting the national reputation that the Jersey Devil got, the Snallygaster did get its good amount of time in the spotlight, with President Theodore Roosevelt even considering postponing an African safari so that he could personally hunt the beastie. Just kidding. That too was a hoax perpetrated by a newspaper. Got you there for a second though, didn't I? The Snallygaster has usually been used to downplay other scares. In July 1947, when Maryland's Middletown Valley had a UFO sighting, the Frederick newspaper reacted by saying that it caused little reaction in Middletown Valley. Middletowners had the Snallygaster to talk about since 1909. Indeed, aliens, ghosts, communists, liberals, whatever has all been associated with various perceived potential enemies of the state or the person's personal beliefs, none could come close to being as important as the ever-present Snallygaster. Now, despite the silliness of the Snallygaster, it has been used to a racial degree as well. Many of the original articles of the cryptid would discuss that it had a particular interest in prey when it came to people. To be more specific, it preferred black people. When the NAACP was founded, the Valley Register ran a story with the headline, "The Colored People Are in Great Danger," which was all about the Snallygaster and its love to feed on the blood of humans. But more than that, it only attacked black people under the cover of darkness with a preference for men over women, though neither men nor women were safe from it. Interestingly, a supposed eyewitness claimed that the Snallygaster was, quote, an omen of ill for colored voters who deserted the Republican Party in the presidential election. It was quite common for white folk who tried to keep the black population under control after emancipation to use folklore and superstitions to keep them from moving at night. It was so successful that folklorist Gladys Mary Fry wrote in her book Night Riders in Black Folk History, from the post-Civil War period to World War I, the method helped to stem the tide of black movement from rural farming communities in the South to the urban industrial centers of the North. These stories were about things that happened at night, and these were the things that kept you from going out. These things that kept you in fear not of the master himself, but of the supernatural. You knew that you might be able to avoid the master because perhaps he was sleeping, but you couldn't avoid the supernatural. The Snallygaster was born from the fantastical tales of Germanic folklore, Maryland journalists desired to be in history books, and racial scare tactics. It's carried on today in a number of media, from books including Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, to video games like Fallout 76, a whiskey blend, ice cream flavors, and it even has its own museum. The American Snallygaster Museum is located in Libertytown, Maryland, and ran by cryptozoologist Sarah Cooper. Cooper had made it a mission to open up a permanent site to the odd cryptid, and has collected a plethora of artifacts, articles, books, knickknacks, and anything else you can think of that involves the beastie. Her goal came true when she opened up the American Snallygaster Museum in 2021. You can check out the collection or ask Sarah questions on the museum's website, Facebook page, or Instagram to hear what's up and up with the Snallygaster. So what do you think? Do you believe in the Snallygaster? Do you think it'll have another bout of sightings soon? Are you upset I didn't discuss its widely known enemy, the Dueo, especially since it has wolf-like features? Want a video on it? You know how I feel about my dog cryptids. Let me know in the comments. I read them all for future video ideas and to see how many other people enjoy learning about spooky stuff like myself. If you want to see what I release in the future, maybe consider subscribing, liking this video, clicking the bell, and sharing it with others. Many of my videos are thanks to suggestions given to me, so feel free to let me know what you'd like to see covered next. Many of you have actually been taking me up on that offer too, and I am oh so very glad to see the influx of creepy suggestions. If you'd like to support me in other ways, maybe consider checking out my Patreon. I have a few, and I think they are all oh so incredible. Thank you so very much. You guys rock, and I'm thankful to have your support. With that, I'm Allie. This is Wicked Encounters, and I'll see you next time. Bye!